Good morning. I know we have a few still coming in, but we're going to go ahead and get started and try to remain on time. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2025 Common Read University 1000 Convocation. For the past few weeks, you've all been immersed in the world of our Common Read.
Piece of paper, others I cannot see you.
Failing up a professor's odyssey of flunking, determination, and hope. You have all underlined passages, debated, and discussed the deeper questions the book raises about our society, our future, and ourselves. Today, however, the text steps off the page and into this room. This is a truly unique privilege to go beyond interpretation and to hear directly from the source. You have the rare opportunity to hear from the author, Dr. Barbara Hong's voice, to understand her intentions, and most importantly, to ask the questions that have been lingering in your mind since you turned the last page. Dr. Barbara Hong is an international advocate and educator for over 25 years. She has transformed schools and improved student outcomes. She holds a PhD in special education from Columbia University, in addition to 3 master's degrees in instructional practices for diverse learners, educational leadership and policy, and as a learning specialist. She's a licensed K-12 teacher, principal, and district administrator. Her research and practice focus on removing barriers for students who are at risk, how the brain works, and the cognitive science of teaching and learning. As a 3-time recipient of the prestigious Senior Fulbright Scholar Awards, she has consulted with ministries of education across Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America. In 2014, Dr. Hong was appointed by the U.S. State Department Bureau of International Programs as speaker specialist and expert in disability and inclusion, where she consults with embassies on behalf of the United States. Her career includes executive appointments as Vice President for Student Success, Dean, and Special Advisor to Executive Leadership. She's also a 3-time tenured full professor at Brigham Young University, Penn State University, and Texas A&M. Previously, she served as the educational specialist for the Fairfax County government. She has taught and lived in New York, Texas, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Hawaii, Turkey, Singapore, Qatar, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Guatemala. She serves on the advisory board for the Oxford Education Research Symposium and is the founding executive director of PACE, or also known as Parents as Advocates for Change in Education. She's received multiple honors, including the International Teacher of Honor Award and the University Exemplary Faculty Award. She's a graduate of the Provost Academy and has completed 2 executive certifications from Harvard. Currently, she leads the Dean of Post-Secondary Transition Programs at North Shore Community College in Massachusetts. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the author of our Common Read, Dr. Barbara Hong.
Thank you. Testing the mic, good. Okay. How are you guys doing? It's 11 o'clock, so I'm standing between you and lunch. Let me drink some water. It's very dry here. As you can see, I just moved to Massachusetts. I said, I forgot to add that. I move around quite a bit. So anyway, thank you so much for being part of the Common Read. And I want to make sure that I do a quick presentation, and then I want you to have time to ask questions. So I'm having somebody signal to me, so prepare to ask questions. And of course, I know you have a class that you have to go, like 11:50, something like that, right, that it ends. So I'll try to be efficient. And let's start this going. And I know you're ready. Okay, so how many of you have seen Crazy Rich Asian? Not many of you. You got to watch it. It's so ridiculously crazy and rich. So I am the crazy and the Asian, but not rich. So definitely, so when you think about it, the setting is in Singapore, but really it was filmed in Malaysia because we would never have such big houses or land in Singapore. Singapore is really tiny. How many of you have been to Singapore? Singapore is about the size of Dallas Airport with 5.7 million people. You've been to Singapore? 2 months ago? Wow, there you go. I just came back from Hawaii, but I was just in Singapore as well. Anyway, it's a tiny country. So the name of the country is bigger than the country itself. So if you find on the map, it's a dot. So you cannot find the country, but you can find the name of the country. Okay? So I come from this tiny country, and when you think of Singapore, typically people say, oh, they're top in math and science. They're very sophisticated, right? Have you seen this picture before with the infinite pool and very sophisticated? It is the wealthiest country per capita of millionaires. I am not that rich person, the country is. But it wasn't always like that when Singapore first separated from Malaysia in 1965, right? But still the country is very young, 60 years old only. You notice that in the book, I have a lot of quotations. And I find that quotations are very helpful because it allows us, based on our experiences, to interpret what that means. And the first quote in the book says that there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Sometimes we look at cracks and we look at scars and we look at bad experiences as, oh, I just want to hide this, it's a shame. When actually those are the cracks that allows you the light to shine, or you allowing it to grow, right? Rather than hiding it. And so I want to tell you a few things to remember when you leave this place today. Oftentimes parents will ask me, or educators will ask me, what is that secret strategy? I say, number one, people who are successful fail a lot. Not that they go out and find failures, but that they recognize this is not good. This is a failure. This is a setback. This is something negative. They recognize it. So for me, one of those things is I flunk a lot, as you can see. My whole life is a failure. So the first thing is I fail a lot, right? This is a picture of my family, which you have read. So as you can see, so the oldest one is Winston, followed by Philip, Jennifer, and then me on the left. It's the only family picture I ever have. We all look so happy. This is the exact house, the flat that I live in, that 4th floor. So it wasn't that sophisticated, infinity pool that you watch in TV or, pictures of Singapore. Because it's so tiny, the only way the government could build is up. And so there was no, playground, nothing like that. And so that is the exact block, Toa Payoh, that I live in, by the corner block. And this is the back when I describe how the clothes will fall, and my sister and I would, run around and go pick up those clothes, because technically you're not stealing because you can't return the clothes, right? So that is our shopping. This is how we dry clothes. And then the water heater is at the top of the building, and we all share the same water heater. And this is Jennifer on Winston's back. So this is how the little balcony, and I'm not sure, I can't remember if I mentioned it explicitly in the book, but each door is very close to the next person, and whenever Lati, my neighbor girl about my age, will come up, she will say, oh, I say, oh, we can play and we can talk, and that's what we just do in the balcony, is because her mother is working, and I didn't understand what is her job. And then I realized later, much later, older, that her mother is a prostitute. So back then, there's no judgment, because I have no idea what that means. All I know is the left door is a prostitute, upstairs is a prostitute, next door. So these are my role models growing up. I don't know what it means by somebody having a profession other than that's what a woman do and the man get drunk. So that's all my whole life. This is the picture of my mom, and my home is a sweatshop. As you can see, the refrigerator, the blue refrigerator that I described, so this is also the kitchen. And next to it is the bathroom. So everything is right there in the house with 6 bodies. So my mom is illiterate. She cannot write her name. She's never been to school. And that's all we do every day is we don't think of, wow, doing assignments or homework. As when you're trying to survive, you're not dreaming about what's the next day. You just come home and you just carry on, and, as cutting and sewing. This is a picture of what a wall looks like. It's dirty. You don't get to paint or anything. It's the only doll that my mother found in a garbage chute next to our house that you read about, next to the Philip factory. And my mother found that doll for me. Most of the days are not happy days or cheerful childhood, just lying there and going through the motion. Sometimes the things we can't change end up changing us. I cannot change who my parents are. Most of us can change our zip code, where you're born, what kind of background your parents come from. But could that change us? Some people say, well, I was born this way, so I could go down the road because it's in my genetics. My father's an alcoholic, so I'm an alcoholic. My mom is abusive, so I'm abusive. We could say that, or we could say, I would never touch alcohol. I would never do that. You could choose, right? So the things could change us, who we are. And as you read, the last time I saw my oldest brother was in prison. I haven't seen him since. He dropped out at 7th grade. And my oldest brother, Winston, dropped out at 7th grade, and then my sister and my other brother dropped out at 9th grade. So I just want to be the first one to finish that 9th grade. So besides failing a lot is that accept who you are. A lot of time, especially this generation, we want to compare to others. We want to, how many people like me? Instagram, all this popularity, but you don't really know the people. But do you know who you are? I know at a time that I am poor, right? So don't worry about being the next somebody. Worry about being the first you before you aspire further. So I know I was poor. I'm not very smart. This was the box of color pencil that I described in the book, that German-made color pencil. It's the only stationery that my mother gave me at 3rd grade that has anything to do with school. Because we don't have any books, so I don't associate learning or anything at all. This is the family trip, the one family trip that my father got us to go to Avila to look at some stuff. And this is the only birthday I ever had, because my mother doesn't want to remember our birthdays. So when I say, hey, Mom, it's my birthday, like a kid was excited, my mom said, I don't even remember my birthday. Why would I remember yours? And slowly I begin to understand why she has such resentment, because she wished I was never born in the first place. As you read in the book, right? Is that I was named a failure. This is me in kindergarten. And after that, I got to go find a public school. So my mother went to many, many blocks to try to find me a school, and the government fine you and punish you by not giving you the opportunity. You cannot just go to any school. So to send a message that you cannot have more than 2, right? If 3 is an accident, but you cannot have more of those children because they think Singapore is too small. And so from the beginning, all the failing thing is set back to me, even before I was born. And then finally, my mom told me that, well, I wish I could have aborted you. So till this day, that lingers in my mind. I am a non-existent. Even my own mother doesn't recognize that I should be born. And finally, a school accepted me with a seat, of course, the random school. So that was the first Topayo school that I went to, which is by the government. Okay, let's change bit a little bit. So when I learned about, Alice in Wonderland, I thought it's a great analogy. You guys know the story, Alice in Wonderland. So when Alice reached the fork and she has to choose which road to take, she met the Cheshire Cat. And she said, well, I don't know which road to take. And the Cheshire Cat asked, well, where do you want to go? Do you remember what Alice said? I don't know. Well, then the cat said, then it doesn't matter which road you take if you don't know where you're going. What a ridiculous story is that? We all don't always have a map of exactly where we want to go. We don't always have a clear path for us. We don't. But you must have the courage and the faith to take one step. Take one of those roads. That road could be very hard. You could be falling. You could be failing. You could be bruised. Then you have to decide, I'm failing a lot. Is this the path that I want to continue because I don't mind those hurts? Or now I'm going to walk back and I'm going to take the other route because now I know for sure that is not what I want. I want you to think about it when you decide on where you want to study, what you want to study. Every decision, I want to spend my time doing this, I want to spend my time doing that. Recognize that, well, this field may not be it. Let me quickly go talk to somebody if I should stay on because it's meant to be difficult, or I could quickly change because time is of the essence. You have to make that choice, but seek the resources that you have because you don't have to make that decision alone. Talk to your professor. Talk to the people who are surrounding here who can help you make that choice because time is what you are gambling against, okay? But whatever it is, you got to take a road. I love this quote, and it was in the book. There is nothing in a caterpillar that tells you it's going to be a butterfly. Not even the caterpillar knows what color wings it's going to have. Are we all not more than a caterpillar? Definitely. You are so much more. So, of course, I flung. I barely made it to 6th grade, as you can see, and then 10th grade was the final time. And this Cambridge exam is even harder than your SAT, but we take it at 10th grade. And, of course, I got ABS. Remember what ABS is? Absent. I didn't even show up. So what does it tell you? I mean, I flunked the exam, such an important exam. Sometimes we sabotage ourselves. We know an assignment is due. We know we're supposed to register. We miss the deadline. We sabotage ourselves. We put a rug under our own self. And that's what I did. Well, I'm not very smart, so I'm not going to go to school. Then I failed. Then look at that. I blame everybody but take responsibility, right? So then I realized at 10th grade is the last time that the government allows you to repeat. So I got a one last chance on that road. Still don't know what's ahead, but I got to make some steps here and make some decision. And I decided that I wanted to repeat. And remember that 365 days, I either going to be the most miserable, shameful, embarrassed girl in school, or it could be just a drop in the ocean. 365 days is long gone when I look back. But of course, at that time, I couldn't see that. So going back to school was the embarrassing part, as you remember in the book, because those who did well, they move on to junior college, and they will wear a different color uniform. Those who didn't do well and decide to go to the workforce, they will not wear a uniform. But if you repeat, you wear the same uniform. That means not only your family knows, the entire community. You take the bus, everybody knows you flunked. So the whole community shames you, which is very much a Chinese culture, and it's very embarrassing. But like I say, it could just be a drop in the ocean, this 365 days. So I just have to suck it up. So I want you to remember, whatever school you attend, wherever you plan to go from here, your career or whatever is, you attend SIU. What does it stand for? Suck it up. I may not like my professor, I may not like this coursework, I may not like, the cafeteria food, but sometimes you just suck it up because you're trying to get to the next step. Okay? So again, the butterfly morph. It goes through these stages, just like all of us. But what is interesting is in that second stage. How does the cocoon, what happens in the cocoon in order to become a butterfly? It has to suck and eat its own organ. It's a very gruesome process. So what's that process called? Suck it up. You just suck it up. This is what it is. I make a choice. It could be a bad choice, it could be a good choice, but you make a choice and you got to live with that decision, and then hopefully you learn the next time, or this is really what I want. Even if I'm failing, I want to continue in this path because I really want to achieve this. That is the grit, and you make that decision with informed decision with the people around you. Sometimes you have to forget the person inside you in order to become the person you're meant to be. So it's so hard to see that. But what you do is, well, okay, forget all of this thing. Forget that I am poor, I'm ugly, I don't look the same as other people, I'm not smart, but I want to be that somebody, being aware, and I'm going to take the next step to see whom I could become. Not as in, I want to be a lawyer, be a teacher, be a dentist. I want to become. It's a character. Who I want to become. I want to become a determined person. I want to be the person that shows up. I want to be the person that's on time. That character is what sustains you in life. Okay? So you fail a lot, being self-aware, and the tip next is once you know this is exactly where I want to go, this is what I want to study, this career that I want, you got to stay consistent, regardless of all those distractions. People are going to say, oh, why did you do this? It's silly. There's no income in doing this. This teacher is very hard. You shouldn't. There will be a lot of distraction. So you decide on that path. Is this continuing or is this I'm changing the path? But you got to stick to it. And then by sticking to it, it means you remove distractions. I cannot believe the professor gave me a bad grade. That's a distraction. Well, that's his decision, but I'm still going to show up, and I'm still going to read a book, and I'm still going to do my very best so that the professor doesn't have any reason to give me other than the grade I deserve. Okay? So then there's this Mr. Yap. If you remember, I still haven't met Mr. Yap. I wish I could find him. He was that 10th grade teacher because nobody else wants to teach that class. So the disciplinary master has to take over the class as a homeroom. And when you're failing, the last person you want teaching your class is a homeroom master, a disciplinary master. And not only that, his area of expertise is math, right? It's like when you're failing, do you think, wow, I'm going to champion and do so well in math? No, I was scared of math. So not all Asians are good in math. I was afraid of math. But Mr. Yap did not just teach math. Mr. Yap taught me that ruin is the best thing. I get to demolish. I get to restart. I get to reset. It's like, wow. Versus while you're discouraged and shameful and embarrassed, you get to reset. And you determine that life. So, and then I have one friend. She doesn't go to the same school because she's smart, yeah? Julia is smart and pretty, and she does a lot of things. But she says, don't be afraid to look at your mistakes. When your teacher come back and their professors scribble or give you feedback, I don't want to look at those. I just want to see which one I did well. No, look at the one that you make a mistake. Why? Ask the professor, can you provide me more feedback? I want to really understand how to solve this. I didn't get this right. It's like you wanted your goal so badly. I'm not going to let this little thing hurt my ego. I'm going to go find out what happened. But again, we are human. We all have ego. So this is my thing. When something hurt me, whether it's relationship or socially or professor or anything, I only allow myself 24 hours to cry about it. And then after that, time's up. I set an alarm. That means suck it up, move on to the next step. And that's why you move on. I can only cry for 24 hours. So you do what is comfortable. But don't be afraid to look at where are my mistakes, because then you can do better in the next one, right? So we often have to break habits in order to build character. I'm trying to build a certain character of self-regulation, self-awareness, and self-determination to get to my goal without having all the distraction around me. So when I completed the grade, I was the only one that passed the Cambridge exam, and I went on, I said, after all these years, so it's 10th grade, 10 years, plus all my repeat years, I finally learned how to study for the first time. And it's okay. It probably took me a long time. I finally learned this is how to understand math. This is how to read a book. And I became the all-year round student of the year. So that was like my first ever achievement, and that's the name. So my father continues to be abusive. That comes with being born in a home with an alcoholic. And my mom is not really doing anything to defend me. She said, I'm not going to break down the bedroom door so that the police could come, because we have the police here all the time. So you just have to, basically suck it up. And he won't remember tomorrow what he did to you. Well, I do. I live with that my whole life, since I was 6 years old. And I got to find a way to break away. So I said, the only way that now I learn how to study is to figure out how I can get the next education. So I work as a custodian, cleaning offices and toilet and everything to save a one-way ticket, and came to America to get an education. Because an education is not just giving you a job. It's giving you the ability to control your life, to decide what you want to do, which job you want to take, where you want to live, what kind of life you want to have, what kind of car you want to drive. That's what education gives you. So if you start giving that power away, you're going to lose it because somebody else is dictating what grades and where you go. So you decide. And so I came to America, and of course, I don't know anything about America, the surroundings and all of this. So somebody gave me an opportunity. Even though I don't know anything about computer or special education or becoming a research assistant, is Dr. Jackson say, well, if I give you a chance, and sometimes somebody just needs to give you a chance, and I beg and I grovel, whatever it takes, give me a chance. So this chance is one shot I get to get it right. And that's how I end up being in a major, that I love special education, because somebody gave me a chance. But I do have to beg, and sometimes say, give me another chance to do this. So sometimes you put up walls not to keep people out, but to see who cares enough to break it. It could be your friends, it could be your professor, it could be your advisors. So I have this wall around me because I don't trust people. But there is this Dr. Han. This is Dr. Han that you read about in the book, that helped me to understand, even though, like you take this class and I'm done with English and Chinese, I don't want to see this professor again, but he keep on bugging me. What are you going to do with your life? What is next? I'm like, and the school is so small, so sometimes you take classes like, I don't like this professor, I just want to be done with the class. But then the professor keep bugging you. It's like, you get annoyed. But then I realize why are you always picking on me? You don't like me? No, it's because he cares about me, and he sees the potential in me. And I just came back from Hawaii last week, and I met with Dr. Han, and he's still teaching at BYU, and he is 75 now, and he's maybe going to retire soon, but he always said, you were a very difficult student, which challenged him to want to get to know me and help me. And so I'm very grateful for him. And he was the one who taught me, if you want to be a teacher, you go to this place called Teachers College at Columbia, which I didn't know. So he was the one guiding me. As much as we don't like a certain person, they are the one breaking down the walls for me. And this is my commencement speaker. Who's that? Who's that? Muhammad Ali. Before his Parkinson, he was my commencement speaker. Yeah, the school has 100,000 students. So I want to leave you with this. Those of you who, I get to sign the book in the provost's office, that is embrace failure. Don't be afraid of that. And then let success embrace you back. If you keep seeking for success, you may be very discouraged. And in 2015, I returned to BYU. I was invited to return to reopen up the very special education program that I helped started. And now we are of the same rank as full professor, Dr. Han and I. So a lot of time people go, oh, wow, you just figure out all of this and you got all your 5 degrees in 8 years. I said, no, it took me over 2 decades to understand how to fail and how to study in order to get to where I am. Because all of you are a star, and you shine in the darkest moment. That's where you see the stars shining. But the stars are always there. So I want to leave with you this, and Dr. Jenkins has prepared, hello, on the bookmark for each of you that says, at the end of the book, don't compare your life to others. There's no comparison between the sun, the moon, and the stars. They shine when it's their own time. And today I land on my 2 feet to come here and be your speaker, but I was once like you. Just remember that. So thank you very much, everybody. I'm open to answering any questions that you may have. It can get very personal. If I don't feel comfortable, I won't answer it, but feel free to ask me. And you can shout out the questions, or you can use the microphone. Oh, let's hear. You want to stand up so we can hear a question? Go ahead.
What made you decide to write the book?
Okay, so I often get asked this question, several reasons, but the pivot was when a student who was born, I think I mentioned that in the preface of the book, at Penn State, and he just thinks that, well, you must be smart, you're Asian, and you went to Columbia, your parents must be educated and wealthy. So there's a certain stereotype that when you see an Asian, they just, are successful. But I didn't want to publish another article, a research. I wanted to tell you my honest story, that I failed, but what lessons did I learn from it? So I was writing this book when I was doing my Fulbright in Qatar, just within the week when Osama was just killed, so we cannot go out. So I was living in the Middle East, and I decided, I'm going to write down my story. Yeah. It took me 7 years to write it, which is not typical, because it's so hard to write, especially the beginning few chapters, and after I write it, you have to recollect everything. It's very emotional. I put away the book for 6 months, and I didn't want to write it anymore. Yeah, so it took me a long time. Question?
We have one right here.
Oh,
How do you think that your faith impacted your strength to write this?
my faith.
Because I know you mentioned that you became religious during the book.
That I
How do you
want.
think that impacted? I know you mentioned you became religious during the book. How do you feel like that impacted your story?
Well, first of all, when we think of the word faith, a lot of time we associate it with a religion. I don't want you to think of that way. Faith is just not knowing everything, but believing that I can do something. Just having faith in yourself to take the next step. So a lot of time, I don't know. Like I say, I don't know what is ahead of me, even now. But you just take a leap of faith. That means you just take one step. It doesn't have to be leap, one step. All I know is that I don't want what's behind. I don't want the life that's behind. I don't want to be poor and not smart. So what do? You go forward, even if you don't know. So sometimes you don't know what's at the back. All you do is you go forward. And that's what I did. But I always am a Christian. My mom, we're raised Christian as Methodist. We go to all these different churches because, so it doesn't matter what religion you have, is whether or not you understand that, you're so much more than just a butterfly, a sparrow. You can become somebody. And that's what is the faith in yourself. Yeah.
We have a question over here.
Where's the question? Oh,
How's the experience making the book, and how long did it take?
Did I
book?
answer that? I did, right? Yeah, 7 years. It took me 7
7
years.
years, so-
But very hard because I got to look back. I brought my whole bucket of all my journals and everything to this country, and I used my journals to recall and then writing it a little bit at a time because it's so emotional. So 7 years.
Are you still close with your siblings?
I am very close to my sister. And we were never close. But when I left to go to Hawaii, my sister started writing letters. Again, culturally, we don't say I love you. It's very weird. In fact, we think you're crazy if you say that. So it's called heart love. They just don't express. But my sister started expressing me. So I am very close to my sister. I am not close to my other sibling. Well, I don't know where my oldest brother is. And my mom is really upset that I wrote this book because in the Chinese culture, you don't air your dirty laundry. But she's illiterate, so she can't read it. So nobody in the family has read it. I mean, it's the truth, yeah. Wait, let me see. Did I answer? And then I don't really talk to Philip because he doesn't understand what I do. I say I'm a professor, I'm a dean. He said, oh, she just worked with people who are like that. And then he makes fun of special education, which I do not appreciate that. Yeah. So only my sister. Go ahead. I do, but we have a language barrier because I speak so much English now. So sometimes I got to remember about how to use my dialect to speak to her. She's 87 years old. I do go back. But what is difficult is that I even tried, like I said, I just went back this December, and I tried to tell her about the abuse, and I just want her to acknowledge it's not only that, it's that my 2 brothers also molested me, but she would not accept it. And and my sister had the same experience with, again, the people that, we grew up with in the block who are drunk and all this. And my mom would say, never say that about your brother, or never say that about uncle so-and-so. They are our friends, or these are your brother. You can never say that about them. So it's like a denial. And sometimes I feel like I don't know if she'll ever acknowledge or say sorry why she never protect me. But sometimes you just don't look for that, because I got so many things that I am grateful for in my life than waiting for that somebody to say sorry or to acknowledge. Yeah, but it's very hard. Yeah.
Does your sister view you as a role model?
My sister sacrificed so much. She actually went to a good school, a Methodist girls' school, because she's my grandma is pretty wealthy, so she gets to go to the school, and she's actually very smart. So I would not be standing here today if not for my sister, because somebody has to sacrifice to take care of the parents, to support. So she started working when she was so young, at 16, to bring in a little income, and I was stubborn. I just wanted to study. So it's not a choice, but it's the circumstances that put us in those decisions. So I owe a lot to her, everything to her. So just remember, you did not make it here today all by yourself. A lot of people sacrifice to bring you this seat here, that you're able to sit here safely in this place to make it possible for you. Just remember that. Yeah, so she made it possible for me. As I was signing the book, I texted her, I told her thank you again, that you make this possible, and she's very proud of me. Yeah, thank you. Anybody? Let's see. I want to see if there is this girl, Libby Carrick. Is she here? Is this how you pronounce her name? Carrick, Libby Carrick? No? That's you? Well, can I keep this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you for the note. It really means a lot. Like I say, I did not write this book trying to be a New York Times bestseller. I just wanted to write a story of my life. I don't know where it's going to go. And then, after I published it, there was this girl, 14 years old, from Iran that got a hold of the book. And then she wrote to me without punctuation, because Arabic doesn't have punctuation, but she wrote it in English without any punctuation. Then I realized she's writing to me from Iran, and she said the book gave her some hope that one day she can use her education to change the world and her life. So a lot of time when we do something, again, it's not because I thought about all this, standing here speaking to you, but there were so many accidental angels around me that allow me to touch another life. So I hope that you know that you too are an accidental angel, and I'm going to keep this special note. Thank you very much, Lily. She wrote a note about the book. Yeah, so thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Wow, that is so important. If I say that I'm already self-determined, I've accomplished everything, guess what? It's the antithesis of self-determination. Somebody who is self-determined will always have the next goal. It's like if you love to read, you always have the next 10 other books that you want to read, right? So this should not be the end of your goal. So I have a bucket list and things that I want to do and experience. So again, wrote a lot of things, read a lot of things, served in many different positions. I travel around the world, but then I never do things for myself because I feel that's very selfish. So one of the first things is I am going to go to Iceland to see the Northern Lights. I wanted to camp in Grand Canyons. So those things are scary for me. So even though I live in Hawaii for 11 years, I have never snorkeled before because the water scares me so much. If you recall in the book, my father used to throw us in the beach, so I'm so afraid of drowning. So we all learned to swim in Singapore because the government thinks that one day the island will sink. So it's out of fear. So I snorkeled for the first time in my life. So I'm experiencing things I'm 55 years old for the first time, seeing all of this. So my goal is, what is the next thing that I can experience? Because at the end of the day, I cannot bring my degree or my house or my car. I can only bring my memories and my experiences with me. So college is not just getting a paper or a degree. As Mark Twain said, never let education interfere with your learning. Learn, embrace experiences, positive, negative, interact with others, because this is the only scenario that you have that has allowed you room to falter a little bit and not have a drastic consequence. So enjoy an experience and be bold. Don't just think outside the box. Think without a box. What could I do? That possibility. So those are, yeah. So let's see where it takes me next. Any other questions? How are we doing with time? Good, okay. Anything else? Yes, Matt. You're gonna shout? Okay, stand up and shout your question. You need a microphone? Oh. Okay. Thank you.
And then to say this because, like, you've been through a lot, and then I heard you in your speech, you was getting emotional, so I appreciate it. You almost got me emotional.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It is students like you that I never thought the words could reach, and it means so much to me. Just like when I met with Dr. Han, he said, I never knew that all those days and emails or things that he called me to this office to talk, he never knew where I was going to be. But it's that hope, that somebody has hope in me. So you gave me hope that, wow, that my book can share and touch, even if just one person in this room. I feel like I can move, pay it forward and be an accidental angel for somebody. So again, when you hear about people who are successful, you think the road is so easy if they just have this money, this connection. A lot of time is they suck it up and then they move forward and then they seek the resources, knowing when I should be independent and when I should be interdependent. Those are very important, the self-awareness. Yeah. So I wanted to, again, any questions? Yeah, go ahead. She asked if I ever seek mental help. Not growing up, because in Asia countries, we just don't do that. There's no such thing as a shrink, not even a doctor. You don't talk about it. Everything is a harsh thing. So it's very awkward. And then when I came to New York City, was the first time I went to see a psychologist. And the psychologist just told me, well, you need to let loose a little bit. You're trying to control too much in your life, and that's why you're miserable. But he didn't understand the context. I never have control, not even my body. And now I finally have control of my life and my time. Yeah, you bet I am going to control that. That is how I feel empowered. It is my life at the end of the day that I need to decide. So that's what gives me happiness. So again, I wish that there were resources, so all of you are very blessed to have those resources. Like I say, it's not just a counselor that you go to, a psychologist. You have a lot of adults here. And if your circumstance doesn't allow you to talk to anybody, this is the place. You come here, and I bet you that if you talk to a counselor, an advisor, even an administrator, say, I just need 15 minutes of your time, help me with the resources, they are here to help you. That's why I embrace the ethos. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Somebody cares about me, and this place cares about you. To pay for your book, to bring a speaker, to embrace something rather than read something else. There's another textbook, is face this thing because it's going to be a hurricane. So whether or not you are in charge and controlling that, you could be your own weatherman. Okay? Yeah. So the two tips, like I say, at the end of the day, the two things is never miss a class. I've never ever missed a single day of class, because that was my goal. I'm never going to give the professor an excuse to give me a grade less than what I deserve. And second of all, I always hand in assignments on time. ahead or on time, I will never give the professor an excuse to give me a grade if I'm late. So I always keep that too. Don't ever skip a class, and always hand in your assignments on time. It takes a lot to get to those steps. Some of you have transportation problems. Some of you need help to go tutoring. Make sure you plan ahead. Don't just say, oh, you know, I did a paper in 3 days and got an A in high school. I can do that. This is not. This is college. This is not high school. This experience is, how can I plan ahead? As much as you can see, you want to see ahead and plan ahead. Because at the end of the day, all the finals is going to happen at the same time. Okay?
Can we give Dr. Hong a big round of applause for joining us today?
Thank you.